This is episode 99 of Real Occult, where we apply numerology and astrology to the material world. Today, we are talking about making confident decisions in our life. How do we look at a trade-off? One of two choices, a crossroad decision. How do we make the correct choice without having regret in the future that maybe we walked down the wrong path? We're going to dig into it right now, and we'll just jump right into it. The reason this has even come up and is top of mind right now is in our free community. There is a member that has their fourth house lord, we're going to get a little technical for a second, their fourth house lord in the eighth house. Fourth house, home, our emotional, internal world, land, property, peace, that inner emotional foundation, our inner world. The eighth house, crisis, loss, death and rebirth, other people's money. And so having housing, our emotional comfort in the eighth house of loss, obstacles, death, and rebirth, traditionally signifies that acquiring clean, new real estate ends up being plagued with hidden structural problems, legal issues, ownership issues, liens, forced liquidations, losing money, tenant problems, all kinds of issues, unforeseen death and rebirth, other people type of issues, other people's money, issues with your loans, whatever it is, right? However, which is why in this person's chart they've been drawn to and are attracted to real estate but have resisted the temptation to get into it their entire life. Because they can tell that there's something potent here that may not be positive or beneficial. And so they've been looking at a bunch of clean property, but they know that there's some hidden energy here. And the whole point that I'm making is we get to choose based on the decisions that we make how this energy is going to play out. And so if they are to buy the type of real estate they've been looking at, Class A, newer build, clean, modern style commercial real estate, they are guaranteed to come into these eighth house themes that are going to manifest in destructive ways. However, if they are to choose to start the acquisition process with the eighth house theme, they then get to transfer that into the fourth house, comfort, security, emotional stability. So instead of choosing a Class A new build, if they go into a rundown renovation project, buy it, examine it, and utilize those eighth house distressed themes, other person's distressed asset that's being forced to liquidate, eighth house theme, they get to come in with other people's money, eighth house theme, with debt, new debt on the deal, death and rebirth, renovate the property, now maintain it and transition into that calm, stable fourth house stability. And so buying pristine property is going to be plagued by those 8th house themes. However, buying distressed, broken, foreclosed properties that are already in the midst of the 8th house fits the chart, and now the desire to avoid those hidden obstacles, those hidden problems, you now get to face that up front. And then the rest is smooth sailing. There is no escaping, and I say this all the time, there's no escaping the lessons we're meant to learn in this lifetime. There is no escaping Saturn's ring. So within this chart, 4th house, Lord in the 8th, there's no escaping that placement. There's no escaping the set of lessons that come with this. However, we do get to dictate how those lessons unfold, based on the decisions we make, based on the trade-offs we make. And so if you, we'll just say, let's say there's personal life, there's family life, professional life, hobbies, and then we have spirituality. Those 5 subjects, we'll just say those are the 5 subjects of life. Rank them 1 to 5 based on importance. What are you going to spend the most time on? What do you deem the most important? Your list of 5 is probably going to be different than your neighbor's list, which is going to be different than your coworker's list, which might even be different than your parents' list, which might be different than your kids' list. And so as we make decisions that come with the trade-offs that we choose to make, because I deem professional life to be more important than fun and hobbies, so I'm going to make this trade-off, even though someone else, their number 1 subject is fun and hobbies. We won't see eye to eye. However, I'm not going to judge your decisions and your trade-offs, just like you will not judge my decisions and my trade-offs. You see what I'm saying? And so as we move through life and make these decisions, and we feel pressure, or we feel like we don't want to be judged. And I say this because when I was in my mid-20s, I had my grandfather go, he ended up on hospice, bedbound, and for 2 years was completely bedbound, and I was his daily caretaker, right? And so my business, I was struggling with priority at the time. I have a relationship, like a half a decade long relationship. We're living together, and now I'm traveling back and forth with my grandpa every single day because he's completely bedbound, and he's staying at my so I have this family priority that should be item number 1, but I have this budding business that I'm trying to force rank into line 1. Meanwhile, my relationship is being shoehorned in there, along with everything else. And I don't want to just say, hey, my business is going to take the back burner right now. Hey, the relationship's going to be on the back burner right now, because my priority for these next 2 years is to maximize this moment with the family before it's gone forever. And I did not do that. I did not make that trade. So as a result, I have to sit here years and years later and acknowledge that I lost out time with the family that I will never get back. My girlfriend at the time, half a decade, she also lost a family member at the time. So it's like we had 2 family losses at the time. We will never get that time back. And I was force ranking the business into the priority position when it shouldn't have been there. I was making that trade-off and felt all of this judgment around it. And it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm actually going to make that. But the thing is, I didn't actually make the trade. I emotionally was making the trade. So I was gritting my teeth in both areas of life, making progress in neither. The business is stalled. The family's stalled because I'm spread thin in every location. Because I didn't want to accept, hey, I'm going to make the trade. The business is going to be on the back burner for the next 2 years. The family and the relationship are going to be priority number one. Maybe I don't need to go work out at 11:30 at night and leave my partner alone for another hour. Like, that's not, here I am half a decade later. None of those decisions mattered. Because I didn't force rank them. Because I didn't acknowledge what my priority was. What is my number one for this season, for this period of time? And so as where are we at here? 11 minutes. We're gonna wrap this thing up. The whole point, there is no escaping the lessons we are meant to learn in this lifetime. If whatever placements you have, that's the foundation you're given. That's the gift that you have. Lean into it. Utilize those gifts. There's no escaping it. If you've got your fourth lord in the eighth, that energy's there. If you try to push it to the back burner, you're going to pay down that debt with interest. If you want to jump into a Class A new build, you're going to run into eighth house problems. If you enter an eighth house property, you're going to be able to experience that regrowth, that rebuild, that death, rebirth, all of those eighth house themes on the upswing. So the only question is, which side of the equation would you like to go through? Would you like to experience the downward effect of the eighth house? Have the upward side now and get the downward effect later? Or do you want to start down and rise up? Like, it's our choice. Which side of the coin do you want to start on? There's no escaping the other side of the coin. For some people, maybe it's like, I just want to kick the can. Cool. Just know that that's what's coming. And so this member of the community, they saw that that's what's coming. They did not want to be caught off guard by that. And it's like, well, if you want to get into real estate, that is the theme that you are going to experience over and over and over again. So the only question is, how do you want to manage it? Do you want to manage it up front and under not your control, but up front with awareness? Or do you want to kick the can down the road and have it pop up however the universe needs it to deliver the lessons you're meant to learn? That decision is a personal trade-off, which only you can make. And as we decide what trade-offs are we willing to make, everyone around us is going to have a different priority list. They're going to be thinking different things matter more than others at that point in time. And just like our list changes, family may go from spot 1 to spot 3 as health comes from 4 to 2, and business goes from 5 to 1, and friends and hobbies go from 1 to 4. Like, this is all dynamic and moving. So as your list changes, your friends' list changes, your family's list changes, your coworkers' list changes, and people are in different seasons at different times. I forget what the saying is. It's something like, you can only step in a river once, because the next step is a different river and you are a different man. Something like that. You only cross a river once. You only enter a river once. As the next time, the river is different and you are different as well. Because this life where living's always moving forward. So the trade-offs that you're going to make today may not be the trade-offs you're going to make 2 years from now. And that's okay. That is the point, because different things have different priorities at different times. And so when we acknowledge that, just having the awareness of that helps me have confidence that this decision I'm making is okay, because it is the best decision for me and the people that I am responsible for, given the information I have at this time. And I, in the future, may change my mind, and that is okay. Because once you make the commit, and this is we're going to get off track. The whole point, there's no escaping the lessons we're meant to learn in this lifetime. The universe is on your side. The universe wants you to win. I also want you to win. If you have any questions, check out our free community, skool.com/real-occult. Link will be down below in the description. If you have any questions, check out the community, and I will talk to you again soon.